chapter 5. And, that psalm speaks about the peace that you can have, the peace of God. And as you heard, this is talked about the writer of that song. You ought to study to find out how he wrote that and why he wrote that song. But it's a pretty, it's not an amazing story, it's a comforting story, I guess you would say. And that guy actually had a lot of peace of God. And if you look at Galatians chapter 5, we'll read that. It talks about walking in the flesh and walking in the Spirit. You gotta have the peace of God to walk in the Spirit. And hang on, that up right there. Galatians chapter 5. And this is like a check verse for you. Okay, it's a check verse for me too. Sometimes as Liz was saying last week, turn the TV off and go outside, right? And get some fresh air and do something. And I do that. But the thing is, sometimes I have to go check my emails on the computer and I start looking at the different news articles. I get mad, okay? I start getting upset. I'm mad kind of at this country in a way, and the way that the media is kind of twisting the truth, right? And I got to check myself a lot of times, and that's what brings me to this verse. And if you'll go with me to Galatians chapter 5 and we'll start from verse 16. Paul is writing here. He says, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other." So what does that mean? When it says the flesh and the Spirit are contrary, it means they oppose each other, right? And he goes on to talk about that. It says, "So that you cannot do the things that you would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, you're not under the law." Then he's going to lay out a list of things here. You want to know if you're in the flesh? Here's a list of some of the flesh things. All right? If you're doing these, you might want to check this out. He says, "Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness." Those are some pretty big words, but you go and you study what those words mean, and they're pretty pertinent. Okay, idolatry, witchcraft, and here's one that we got to be careful about: hatred. Right? We'll make sure we're not hating. Variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Contrasting. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So you want to understand where you're at spiritually, you can look at this list here. And if you're in the top category, you might need to let the bottom category, you need to let the Spirit work in you and let the bottom category have an effect on you, right? And that's why I'm saying I need to check these things too. That you don't get angry about things that don't matter, that you let the peace of God rule in our hearts, as that verse says in Philippians, right? Let that be the overruling character. And in verse 24 he says, "And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with affections of lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit." All right, let's go ahead and close there, and we'll do some